Morning, swans and falcons. My name is Engelbert and I'm here to help Miss Carlia today to teach you with your maths. Our learning intention for today is, can I find equivalent fractions, decimals and percentages? Pause the video now and get that written in your book and restart when you're ready to move on. Hello everybody, you have met my friend today that's going to help me take you through our maths lessons. So I believe Engelbert has already taken you through the learning intention. You've got that written in your book. So let's do some warm-up questions. So here are your warm-up questions for today. Have a go at those. Pause the video first and then restart when you're ready to go through the answers together. Right, let's start with calculating 0.6 times 8. So if we know our times tables really well, we'll know that 6 eighths are 48. But I can't put 48 in one column, can I? So I'm going to need to exchange those 4 tenths, or 40 tenths even, for 4 units. Okay, so my answer would become 4.8. Now, common factors of 18 and 24. Remember, factors are numbers that go into a number as opposed to multiples that would be in that numbers times table. Okay, so let's have a look. I've set this up here. If you remember, factors always come in pairs apart from special type of number. Can you remember what type of number that is? That's right, a square number, because obviously with square numbers, one factor is a number that you multiply by itself. Okay, so I've set out here, so I don't forget any of the factors, I've set it out so that I put in the pairs together, and I've followed quite a logical process here. So I've gone through in turn and worked out whether those numbers are factors and what their pair is, and done the same with 24. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is look to see which factors are common to both. So we have 1 that's common to both, 2 which is common to both, 3 is common to both, 4 is only in that one, and then we have 6 which is common to both. So 1, 2, 3 and 6 are common factors of 18 and 24. Hopefully that's what you got in your answer. So going back to this, we have 1/4 times 2/3. Now remember, with multiplying fractions, we don't need to worry about the denominator need to be in a different number. We just need to multiply the numerator together and the denominator together. So 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 3 is 12. Can we simplify that fraction? Yes, we can, because both the numerator and the denominator are both even, and if they're both even, they both have 2 as a factor. So if we divide top and bottom by 2, we get 1/6, and that is in its simplest form. Okay, and the last question asks, what is the value worth in this number? And it's 3,527, so the value is 500. Okay, hopefully you got on okay with those questions. Now let's move on to today's learning. Okay, a bit of revision. I know I talked about it with you on Monday, I believe, and also Miss Jenny talked about it with you yesterday, that the word percent means out of 100. Okay, so if I have 100 square here, what, if 1 is shaded, what fraction of my 100 square is shaded? I have 100 squares and 1 is shaded, so 1 out of 100 is shaded. So 1/100th. What would that look like as a decimal? Think about the place value, okay? We have the units column, or ones column, then the decimal point, then we have the tenths, then comes the hundredth. So if I've got 1/100th, that is going to be what it is. And because we know that percent is out of 100, we have 1 out of 100, so that is 1%. Okay, over here I have 10 out of 100 highlighted. Okay, but do you remember I said if we've got 10 columns, okay, so 10 out of 100 is highlighted, but actually 10 columns, 1 out of 10 columns is highlighted. So that, in its simplest form, would be 1/10. Okay, so that helps us in knowing what the equivalent decimal is, okay? So again, thinking about our place value here, we had ones, the decimal point, and then we had the tenths. So if we've got 1/10 here, our decimal equivalent must be 0.1. But knowing out of 100 here is going to help us knowing what the percentage is. So if I've got 10 out of 100 and I know percentage out of 100, then that must be the equivalent to 10%. Okay, moving on to the next slide. So now I have 48 100ths, 48 of 100. I want to know what that is as a decimal and as a percentage, okay? First of all, I'll start with the percentage. Percentage is really easy, isn't it? Because if percentage is out of 100 and I've got 48 out of 100, that must be 48%, okay? Now, I have 40. If I think of that as two separate fractions, I have 40 out of 100 and I have 8 out of 100. And I know from looking back here that 10 over 100 is the same as saying 1/10. So if I could break this down into 40 over 100 and 8 over 100, I've got 8 hundredths, and 40 over 100 must be equivalent to 4/10, mustn't it? If I divide top and bottom by 10, I get 4/10, so therefore my decimal must be 0.48 because I've got 4/10 and 8 100ths. Can you see that? Okay, so let's have a look at this. So 0.26, I've got 2/10, but we know that's the same as saying 20 hundredths, and I have 6 hundredths, so I have 26 hundredths, so 26 over 100, and because percent is out of 100, I've got 26%, okay? Have a go at the last one. Pause the video, have a go at the last one, and then switch it on when you're ready to move on, and let's see if you get the same answer as me. So, I've got 73%, and I know that the percentage is out of 100. So I've got 73 out of 100. And looking up here, I know that's the same as saying 70 over 100 and 3 over 100. So I've got my 3 hundredths, but I know that my 70 over 100 is the same as 7/10. So my 7 is going to go in the tenths column, and my 3 is going to go into the hundredths column. Okay, moving on. So that's okay when I have a fraction that's over 100, but not all fractions are over 100, are they? So have a look at this. I'm looking at this top one here. Now I have 3/5. So in order to work out, because I know percent is out of 100, I want to make this an equivalent fraction that has 100 as the denominator. So I want to turn 3/5 into hundredths. Okay, so what have I had done to the 5 to get 100? That's right, I've timesed it by 20. So I need to do the same at the top to keep it equivalent, don't I? So 3 times 20 equals 60. So I now know that I've got 60 out of 100. So 60 out of 100 is 60%. What's that then as a decimal? Now I've seen before, haven't I? 60 over 100 is the same. If I divide top and bottom by 10, it would be the same as 6/10. So then my decimal will be 0.6. What about this one then? What have I got to multiply 4 by to get 100? Okay, I've got to multiply it by 25, haven't I? Okay, so I've got to do the same up here. So then my fraction, I'm going to use this arrow to help me, is going to become 75 over 100. Now this is one of those fractions that I showed you the other day, and I said it's one of those fractions you almost just need to know off by heart. So hopefully you would know that the percentage equivalent, 75 over 100, is 75%, and that the decimal equivalent is 0.75. Okay. Oh look, Miss Carlia made a bit of a mistake here, didn't she? Because she's literally done the same. Can you see? It's an equivalent fraction to 3/5, because I kind of got myself down to 6/10. So we can fill these ones in really quickly. 60% and 0.6. Okay. A problem then. These are the results of a spelling test. Child A got 17 out of 20 correct. 17/20. Child B got 84% and child C got 0.8 correct. So we're comparing a fraction with a percentage with a decimal, which is not very helpful really, is it? Who did the best in the test? So what do you think we need to do to work that out? Because it's really difficult to compare 3 different measures. That's right, what we need to do is we need to find the equivalent fractions, decimals and percentages. So you can then use one of these to make that comparison, okay? And I tend to find that decimals or percentages particularly are the easiest way to make those comparisons. So let's start with A, 17 over 20, okay? That's what person A got, 17/20. So it's easier to work out what the percentage is if I can make it out of 100. So let's do that to the side here. So we've got 17 over 20 and I want to make it into 100ths. So what have I done to the 20 to get 100? That's right, I've timesed it by 5. So now I need to do 17 times 5. Okay, which is not the easiest to do mentally, but I'm going to, in my head, partition it. And I know that 5 times 7 is 35, so I'm just going to jot that down here. And I know that 10 times 5 is 50. And then I'm just going to add the 2 together and I know that the answer is going to be 85. So actually, I can rub this out and change this. So person A got 85 out of 100. Okay. Now pause the video now and have a go and see if you can fill in those gaps for me. Restart the video when you're done and let's see if you've got the right idea. If I know 85 out of 100, I know the decimal is 0.85 and percentage is 85%. For B, I know that it's 84 over 100. I'm not going to bother showing this in its simplest form because I want to make those comparisons. And 0.84. And then the last one, 0.8, is 8/10 or 80 over 100. And 80%. So as we can see, person A got the highest score, followed by person B, with person C being the worst at spelling. Okay, thumbs up, thumbs down. How did you find it today? Have a go at the worksheet. Pop a comment on the blog if you're having problems with anything, and hopefully you've got the hang of it from this video. Lovely to see you. Speak to you soon. Bye.